revenue increasing rather by 3.7% to 2.61 billion rand. We saw margins decreasing across the board. We started to see quite a bit of pressure, except for your international operations, where we started to see a little bit of an improvement, but a tough environment that you've been dealing with.
Very difficult out there. It's very competitive, as you can see in the margins. The material side had some life, and we're very pleased with those numbers, and congratulations to our team over there. International side as well, but on our two roads divisions, it's been very difficult.
Absolutely. We've seen payment delays from the Free State Provincial Government. What is your sense with regards to payments going forward, and when it comes to government contracts? That has been one of the biggest issues, actually, that the construction industry as a whole has been facing.
Yeah, we've been fortunate, Sanral being our biggest client, municipalities, others, some of the provinces. We actually haven't had major problems with that. The Free State is an isolated case. It's a specific work that was put out where we effectively were funding the province, and that's caused some problems with Treasury, and we're awaiting the outcome of that investigation. We're cautiously optimistic that it'll be okay, but we can't promise that.
With regards to your Raubex division, it actually contributes just almost 52% of total revenue. We saw operating margins decreasing to 9.8% from 15.6%. In the first half of this year.
That's how difficult it is out there.
Explain exactly what happens. Do you go into a contract and try and obviously get the contract and then start revising down so that you can try and ensure work?
It's basically from the tender point. It goes about who's tendering and at what prices, and as a general rule, the lowest tenderer will get the work. What has happened in the road space is general construction has been very weak, as we all know that, which has meant that a lot of players that weren't historically road builders or asphalt people have migrated there because there's so much activity still taking place in the road space. order book is full. So the effect of that has been you've now maybe got 18 people tendering on a job where you used to have 5 or 6. And as more and more distress has entered the construction space and the market, the prices have continued to deteriorate.
Do you expect this to continue, though, obviously with an increase in competition?
For short term and in the near future, yes, we do.
What's the lowest assumption that you've actually made for the margins with regards to Raubex? Is it going to go below 9.8%?
We certainly hope not. One of the problems that's lying ahead, which may undermine that answer somewhat, is the bitumen shortage that's taking place in the country. That could become quite a disaster. We're obviously hoping not. We're now importing bitumen from Singapore to get through the problems in the short term. But over long term, that problem needs to be resolved. We're obviously hoping that we're reaching the bottom of the cycle.
Raubex Construction, pretty much the same picture there, where we saw divisional margins decreasing by 4.3% to 4.3% from just over 15% in the first half. That's a significant drop.
No, it's been very, very difficult out there.
And so pretty much the same story there.
Very much the same story. The Free State contract specifically has exaggerated the results there, because we haven't been able to book the profits on those jobs because we're uncertain of the outcome of the payments.
Internationally, we know that you've done some work in Namibia, in Zambia, and of course Malawi as well. Give us a sense of the margins that we experienced in there, because that's the only space where we're starting to see an increase, and that's from 6.6% in the first half going to around 8.8%. Do you expect this kind of number to increase? I'm sure there's a lot of demand.
It should be, in lower double-digit numbers. What we have in the international operations, which is a bit of a moving target ongoing, is currencies. But it has improved. We expect it to continue improving. We've picked up some nice new work in the materials side in Namibia. So we're optimistic that that'll continue to make the international operations expand. It'll be moderate and it'll be slow. It's not fireworks out there as much as needs to be done. But if you're prudent and if you're here for a long time and not a short time, it'll work.
Can we go back and just look at the macro environment in South Africa? Do you think that the heydays of the immense construction boom that we saw in this country are over? Do you think we can get back to those levels? And if so, what is it going to take to get there? The government has been talking about a lot of spend within this space, and we're starting to hear the very good news stories filtering through, but not substantially enough.
Yeah, I think it's going to be slower than what people got accustomed to. The World Cup was a once-off event for a start. On top of that, we had quite a big housing boom during those years. So I do think things will get better, but I think it's going to take some time. Government needs to get on with spending the trillion-odd rand that everybody speaks about, but we're not there yet. And I would be surprised to see quite the heydays that we had anytime soon.
What signal are you giving investors going forward with regards to further international expansion? Is that where the growth prospects are going to come from?
Yes.
Fantastic, Francois. We have to leave it there. Thank you so very much for joining us.